This is the FBI, Tom.
The FBI in The Sopranos? Strong as a bull, smart as a doorstop.
My father never had the makings of a varsity athlete.
If The Sopranos gave us mobsters who never had the makings of a varsity athlete, it also gave us a federal law enforcement agency that never had the makings of a varsity bureau.
Soprano, an FBI surveillance photo.
The FBI on the show is presented as both omnipresent and spectacularly useless. An agency capable of press conferences and surveillance trucks, but somehow incapable of preventing its star informant from vanishing into thin air. The Adriana storyline is the most glaring indictment.
Put a listening device in your business.
After years of manipulation, threats, and endless hand-wringing, the feds finally push her to the brink, convinced she'll flip Christopher and bring down Tony Soprano.
We could never come back here, Adriana.
What happens? She disappears. Gone. A missing informant whose absence would, in reality, set off alarms, investigations, and congressional inquiries.
He killed her. Believe me, with the forensics they got now...
The FBI came to her house.
Instead, television's FBI shrugs, questions her mother with the faux innocence of a child who's misplaced a homework assignment, and lets Christopher Moltisanti stroll around Newark like nothing happened. Strong as a bull, yes, but about as perceptive as a garden statue. And this isn't a one-off lapse. The Bureau in The Sopranos consistently comes across as either too cautious, too stupid,
For years now, the FBI has been telling us that the mafia is all but dead.
or too concerned with optics to accomplish anything of consequence. They know Christopher killed Adriana, or at least that she didn't just hop a bus to Pennsylvania.
It's okay? First and foremost, there's always a body.
But without a body, they're paralyzed. No evidence, no indictment.
They know, but they don't know.
They know, but they don't know. They hope, maybe, if. That's the FBI's entire investigative ethos in the series. A shrug wrapped in paperwork. The absurdity deepens when one remembers how much evidence should have existed. Security cameras at Adriana's apartment, toll cameras, cell records,
Everything's okay.
the suspicious payphone call from Tony before she vanished, her car abandoned at the airport.
Agent Harris.
In a realistic world, all of this would build probable cause for a warrant at the very least.
I told you it was a piece of shit.
But in the Sopranos universe, fingerprints don't exist, surveillance footage is either non-existent or forgotten, and DNA might as well be science fiction.
What do you write?
Law and order.
The one time anyone even bothers to wipe down a surface is Christopher nervously cleaning a Law and Order writer's doorknob, a nod to a reality the show otherwise ignores. This same blindness plagues other moments.
What are you talking about?
You left me $16, sir.
Polly and Christopher casually shoot a waiter in the face outside a restaurant, a location crawling with witnesses and cameras. In the real world, they'd be in handcuffs within hours. Instead, no consequences. Bobby Bacala executes a Canadian in broad daylight at a laundromat, yet somehow vanishes without a trace, as though the Canadian justice system collectively shrugged and went back to folding towels. Yes, the laundromat had 2 exits and noisy dryers, but let's not pretend a hulking Jersey gangster wouldn't stand out. The explanation, of course, is that this isn't reality. It's drama. Competent law enforcement would shorten the series to about 1 season.
Huh? Can you really not be aware we've been building a RICO case against Tony Soprano?
If the feds did their jobs, Tony and his crew would be locked up faster than you could say RICO. Instead, The Sopranos leans into a satirical truth.
Don't have to witness yet.
Nothing.
This is the FBI, Tom.
The FBI, for all its resources, often looks like a bull charging in the wrong direction. Loud, destructive, but ultimately ineffective. And yet, this portrayal isn't as exaggerated as it might seem.
We've had every one of Tony's phones bugged for 4 years.
The real Bureau has hardly distinguished itself as a paragon of brilliance. From helicopters running out of gas while tailing gangsters in Vegas, to anti-terrorism priorities that ignored domestic organized crime, the FBI's history is littered with episodes of incompetence.
Special Agent Dwight Harris, FBI.
The same agency that mishandled mob informants in the 1960s and 70s later failed to prevent its own witnesses from being murdered.
Try the FBI. I saw it on TV.
Even today, the FBI manages to look simultaneously overbearing and inept. spying on the wrong people while failing to stop obvious threats. The Wire, for contrast, at least offered a law enforcement apparatus that was flawed but credible. Baltimore's police department in that series was a mix of lazy incompetence, frustrated real cops, and the occasional Herc-level idiot. But at least it was clear who was smart, who was dumb, and who rose to the occasion. In The Sopranos, the FBI comes across as uniformly buffoonish.
I'm still in touch with some agents who work OC.
With the lone exception of Agent Harris, who seems to have wandered in from a better written show. The logic behind this portrayal is simple. The Sopranos wasn't about the FBI. It was about Tony Soprano's inner life, his family, his crew, and his slow march toward ruin.
Unit 1, this is Control. Baby Bing, headed your way.
Law enforcement was background noise, useful only when it heightened tension. To make the show work, the feds had to fail, over and over. Otherwise, there's no drama, only indictments.
Moldasante is engaged.
Still, the incompetence is so pronounced it borders on parody. Imagine, the Bureau spends years cultivating Adriana, invests manpower and resources into flipping her.
We'd have a fireplace like you like to.
And then, at the very moment she's most vulnerable, lets her return home unguarded, where she promptly vanishes.
Metaphor talking about the bus station project.
Adriana Lacerva.
Not a tail, not a car parked outside, not even an intern watching from across the street. It's not just bad procedure, it's malpractice. But again, if the FBI prevented her murder, we'd lose one of the show's most shocking, unforgettable gut punches. Storytelling won. Competence lost.
Because of Rico.
The larger irony, of course, is that the Bureau is supposed to be terrifying. A shadowy force capable of wiretaps, data collection, and the kind of slow, suffocating prosecution that dismantled real-life mob families by the early 2000s. By the time The Sopranos aired, the Mafia was already a shell of its former self, largely thanks to effective use of racketeering statutes. But that reality wouldn't make gripping television.
We think we heard something.
Instead, we got the FBI as clown car. Agents with resources, but no idea how to use them. Ultimately, The Sopranos' FBI functions as both satire and necessity. Satire because their bungling mirrors the real-world failures of federal law enforcement. Agencies that know everything yet accomplish little, forever hoping maybe. Necessity, because without their incompetence, Tony's empire collapses far too soon. The Bureau's failure is the show's success.
He was slow.
So yes, the FBI on The Sopranos was strong as a bull and handsome like George Raft, but about as useful as a bull in a china shop, smashing around blindly, leaving chaos in its wake, and never actually catching the matador. They knew, but they didn't know. And that was the point. The FBI lost Adriana. Don't lose this channel. Subscribe.